lowly ranked within both analyst and community as well.
They were
Even
in my
with the
bottom
community fan favourites, they were still ranked relatively low.
Well, you know what? I voted for them for this match, so they're going to come back. They're going to get 2-1. You know what? They've got the chance still.
But best of luck with that, because if they don't, then they're actually the bottom of their group. Yeah. And there's already like a couple of a little bit of whispers around the water cooler of what happens if Secret actually get knocked out in the first round of the lower bracket. If that happens, are they actually going to go through the qualifiers for TI? Do they not get direct invited?
Yeah. I believe in Puppy.
Or do they actually?
Okay, it's very easy to believe in Puppy with every single. I think it's every Valve event he's managed to place in the top 8.
Yep.
Every single Valve event. If this is the first one that he doesn't place there, then something is seriously wrong.
I was going to bring that up. This would be the first. I mean, Puppy has been to all the Valve events, all the TIs, and this would be the first time that he's failed to place top 8. Just I mean, it hasn't happened.
Has there actually been any event that he hasn't been invited to?
I do want to urge some caution here, gentlemen, because
we are getting ahead of ourselves.
Hey,
Navi's back.
This is day Navi is back.
It's true.
But this is day 1. It's a 9-day tournament with a gap in between as well, and no one is eliminated on the first 2 days of the group stages.
That's true.
I know it does make a massive difference to teams like Complexity and potentially now Secret that they will drop into that lower bracket.
It's also into
it's really tough, right?
It's also into a lower bracket. It's a best of 1 the first round too.
But I will give you this. OG Frankfurt.
Bam.
That's all I'm going to say about it, okay?
That's true, but
all I'm going to say about it. It can, and it has happened. We're into the draft for game 2.
They just need to adapt. They really need to adapt.
You're just holding on to optimism.
Oh, come on. They're doing the same thing that they did versus Navi the last game, though. They gave him the Phoenix and
how did that work out?
The Phoenix and the Mirana.
How did that work out?
Damn it, Paul. They gave them the Phoenix and the Mirana the first game, and then the second game they banned it.
You realise, folks, sitting next to me, you're like in Melk territory here, right?
Oh, God,
okay.
no. All right, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take a step back.
You're not just like a lumberjack, don't worry.
It's fine. He didn't bring the paddle.
Oh God, Toby, please.
Okay, so we see the bounty. We see the bounty ban this time. Yes. No real surprise after that first game.
Yes. And the life stealer as well. Yeah, those two.
You said the word adapt, right? And clearly, we're going to take away the bounty hunter and the life stealer. We're going to run the with something completely different. But again, I really Tide is actually the 3rd best hero in this patch according to our hero rankings.
Give them Enchantress Tidehunter, which they didn't want to give them game 1.
Yep.
No.
So if they just walked into the fact that Wings wanted those and now they get them.
Smack.
Yeah.
You've made Wings early game and rotation so much stronger. You've given Wings team fight a Tidehunter that probably won't get zoned out of that top lane. Like we saw a Blink Dagger early on from the Slaughter. This time around, like Team Secret, what are you going to commit to actually push that Tidehunter off that top lane? Can you even stop him from hitting a normal timing on a level 6? Is Ravage going to come in to your fight so early on for Wings that you can even force into towers? That's... And then Team Secret missed their timing. And like you pick up an IO, what's your combo?
Are you feeling a little worried about your...
No, you know what? It's okay. You can't ban everything. Come on, guys. Give them a break right now. You guys are being so rough.
Hey, you're right. You're right. Team Secret's got to win. I said 2-1. Because I actually set a score.
Ooh.
Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, sure.
You are back in the right horse, though. We were both back in the right horse.
I am not sure about this Batrider pick at all. It's obviously really good in the hands of Universe, but I think the teams that are good with Batrider in this patch are running it both offlane and mid, and it's hard for me to see RTZ running a Batrider mid.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
Unless you switch the lanes up a little bit more.
They probably want to change up their entire way that they've been playing, though. Like they haven't picked either of these 2 heroes, and maybe they want Universe to be playing a true initiator now at this point. Yeah, I like this that they're at least changing it up a bit because obviously they need to because of what's been happening.
Yeah, agreed. I'm wondering, too, if Wings is thinking about banning out that Clinks up against the Enchantress. It gives finally Eternal Envy some damage which you can rotate with. That can function with the Batrider. Obviously, you don't need to combo with the IO all the time. Like, IO's just going to be good no matter what situation, just because he's able to buff up. Whichever core is in trouble.
That's a good call. It's also an Envy hero.
Yeah.
He's been playing that.
I just want to see Envy in a comfort zone. Like that last game with the Juggernaut, it's a comfort hero, but it didn't work in the draft, so he didn't find the zone for his comfort.
I don't think, by that point again, I don't think it mattered.
Yeah, it really didn't. But in this game, like, it just has to be something else. Like, something which can fight, something which is able to, like, rotate and find kills. Like, Clinks, Slark, don't care. Just something which allows Envy to play Envy, aka get aggressive.
This is completely switching it up, though. Like, we haven't seen them play Batrider ever with this roster. So
Yeah,
this
really
is,
not
they're
a single
really
game.
they're
Yes.
really changing it up completely from what they've been doing lately. So
That was my.
I like this. At least they're doing something to change their approach.
The question there is genius or hope.
Desperation.
Madness.
Well, but this is one of the. That's the thing. That's part of the reason why we expected this team to be so good. This is one of the things that you're supposed to be able to do with a veteran roster. You're supposed to be able to change up your play style like this because you have these incredible all-star type players that are good on so many different heroes.
It's what gives you the options.
Right.
That's it. We're running like in mid now.
10 seconds remaining.
We're looking for the all-star player, right? Actually, no, it's the Drow strat.
5 seconds remaining.
It's the Drow strat.
It could be. It's a little weird with
Drought.
the Wisp, but
No. We saw. I think it's actually been Wings that has run Wisp with Drow fairly
Wings,
recently.
yes.
Yeah.
That's true. But like we said, those guys.
Yeah.
guys
It's
are crazy, right?
Any
Crazy,
5
yeah.
heroes run at you, but it's actually not completely crazy, right? If you're timing your pushes extraordinarily effectively.
Final ban phase 2.
Don't know if they wanted. I don't think they really want to ban the Venge. They banned the Oracle for obviously the Batrider views, and he can remove the sticky and of course remove the ulti. But I think banning the Venge might be a little bit of overkill here. So probably looking at what other heroes that Wings really prioritizes versus these type of two, which I think. Okay, so Weaver, interesting. Okay.
Maybe they feel like they're getting me a little light on lockdown.
Yeah.
Like if that's a Batrider pickup and you do get something like, well, okay, yeah, Druid Badge should be terrible unless you're going to level up Gust a lot.
Guess they want to give Universe, they don't want the Weaver because Weaver is quite good versus Batrider in the lane. So I guess they want to really guarantee Universe to try to get at least not completely guaranteed, but at least an approach to help him out a bit.
It's setting up for like a Tiny or an Ursa. They're worried about Arteezy and Envy getting kited, right? I think you're going to see Arteezy or Envy. If they go, they could go for something like the Drow strat, or they could go in the other direction and have them on melee DPSers.
I'm still interested, like they actually let something like a Disruptor through, because normally, like when an IO comes up, you flag 2 support heroes straight away. It's Witch Doctor as well as Disruptor. Like their team fight for Wings is going to get pretty damn brutal if they also have a pullback on a Batrider or on an IO when they relocate in.
Yeah, but again, again though, this is the tricky thing. The problem I have with Wings, when you just have to change your mentality to evaluate their drafts because everybody else is trying to like deal with or disrupt the relocate initiation somehow. Wings are fine with that. They're just going to run right into it.
Yeah. Well, they can still disrupt it now. Like you Nightmare one, you Phoenix Grip another. They're both locked in position, and obviously Aya's not going to stun you.
10 seconds remaining.
I really want to see how Team Secret wrap up their last cause.
Yeah, I mean, the obvious ones for at least Envy, I guess, are the Ursa, the Clinks, and the Jug. But Bane is quite good versus
Reserved.
pretty much all 3 of those.
Exactly.
Does Team Secret then just say, you know what, screw it, like let's just start running a jungler here, like get something else? Because I kind of feel like with an IO as well, they can't be too aggressive in their lane. Like unless you start running like a Wisp Tiny in the mid and you duel it there and you force rotations from Enchantress into that mid lane.
I think the Enchantress from Wings would punish any jungler that you're going to pick dire side here so hard.
There's still Phoenix.
Yeah,
But it's not a jungler. It's not a
No,
jungler.
it's not a jungler, but it'll,
Puppy Chen is actually not. That's not a bad.
it's the only one I think that could battle against an Enchantress. Like you wouldn't want to run an Enigma.
10 seconds remaining.
Actually, he's also not that bad.
A lot of time
5
being used here
seconds
as well.
remaining.
Okay, Ancient Apparition.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess, okay, so they don't want to go. This might be the approach of them not wanting to go for the Clinks, Ursa, Jug, and wanting to have an option to be able to zone the Tidehunter out, because that's one of the old ones that people used to pick. Like, of course, the AA Chilling Touch goes through his Kraken Shell.
This is also, they have in their heads, Wings with Husker is actually beyond terrifying, and they also run Alchemist.
What
so
about-
it's kind of a pre-counter to that.
How about a CK for Secret? I mean, it's a little weird, but it's
No,
like
it's
we've
not.
seen the CKAA and we've seen the Wisp CK. I don't know how much we've seen all 3 together, but
It's dangerous against a Tidehunter, though.
It's not
Can't-
bad. It's not bad at all. The problem is I'm still on what you said earlier about I thought they were going to try and go a little bit more in the direction of these comfort heroes. And CK is definitely not a comfort
no,
hero.
definitely not.
Yeah, it's not really EE style, is it? But now they need something global because, okay, You had everything to set up while Spectre continues to farm. Then the fight begins. He Spectral Horns, Ancient Apparition, and Io. If this Spectre can get a little bit of tankiness and potentially like Mana Diffusal, like he's going to kill off these supports and then still have time to reality to its secondary target.
Okay.
I'm actually really scared for Team Secret right now that their supports will just not survive. The Batrider won't be able to get initiation because Spectre's going to be right on top of him at the start of the fights. Like, you're almost having to force the issue by Team Secret. The Death Prophet gives you an opening to do that, and the Batrider potentially can give you an opening to do that, but you need to have that straight-up combo. I almost feel like Klings has to be the last one here. You get a pick, and then you get the advantage, so then you can get an objective straight after it.
I just want to thank Wings quickly, because that's the first plane of the tournament and the first Spectre of the tournament.
Are you
thinking about your compendium
predictions?
Yeah.
How close?
Just being selfish, that's all right. Just speed them up a little bit more, Wings, please. We're relying on you guys for a bit of wacky stuff, right?
I'm fine for something unique. Or at least new.
So now Wings need a mid-hero versus the Death Prophet.
Plenty.
And they want to... Yeah, they're gonna... What do they want to ban for Secret? Maybe they might want to ban the Clinks, like you were saying, but there are a couple of options that Secret has. So okay,
Yeah,
they ban the
goes.
Clinks. There we go.
It's just a little too obvious and too easy for him.
I thought that's why they would have picked it up in that second phase.
Mm-hmm.
I'd actually just like to see something. I don't know. He's already out. Like something that's just tanky. So if Team Secret do try and go for it, like they don't find the kill, he's able to weather the storm of the Ancient Apparition, or has some kind of like escape mechanism from like the Death Prophet when Spirit Siphon happens.
I actually really like that call. I think you could even go like a Timber Saw here. You could go like a Brewmaster, just somebody to get in the middle of them.
He was in the back of my mind as well, but then Death Prophet Silence and Lasso has me a little bit scared. But there's no burst damage from Secret, so they're going to trigger as reactive armor. But I don't know if Wings would really have to do that.
Yeah, they have 4 minutes. Okay, so it's fine.
Okay.
That's...
Team
Well, at least it's a combo with the IO.
Yep.
But I'm fairly certain that Wings is going to prioritize controlling up the Team Secret's Ancients and definitely putting some aggressive movement into that dire jungle so they can't just stack and farm. Like, this isn't a no Tidehunter type of game. Like, they can't just stack 5 million camps and expect to farm them. The Wings will be all over it.
Wind Ranger at your service.
Wind Ranger.
Trying to go for a Wind Ranger. Okay, so we've seen the Wind Ranger Enchantress a couple of times. Very quickly as we go down the line, based on draft, who do you feel has a better draft this time round, Alan?
Boy, this is a really hard one to call. I think Secret have a chance to do something in this game. I don't think it's going to be a stomp like the previous game. I'm still leaning toward Wings just because I think they play a style with these 5 heroes that is going to be really difficult to deal with, but I think this is a lot more even. I'm going to go ahead and take Secret and say we'll have game 3.
Okay, very quickly, Toby.
I believe it's Wings. Their rotations early on are so much better. Their team fight is absolutely superior. They've got great control, and they've got the ability just to be everywhere, and I don't think their supports will last long from Secret.
Talked.
I believe. Let's go Secret.
He's sticking to his guns, and we've got to admire him for that at least. Let's head back to our commentators for game 2.
All right, Secret, 1 game away from being bottom of their group, and Wings, 1 game away from going into the decider. Gods, where are you betting your horse? How quick is Secret gonna lose?
Yeah. It's less like where are you betting your horse, and I feel like that's what people are probably talking about now. With Secret have looked pretty bad today. That goes without saying.
They really have. They really have. All right, Secret versus Newbie, game number 2. Let's go.
Team Secret versus Wings Gaming. Who will be victorious?
Made it in just in time.
Just like that. They need everything they can to be able to 5-man smoke straight into Blink. Might be able to pick up the first blood, as they should be able to run it down. They a little bit of extra damage. And sure enough, there it is. Now the question... Wait, there it is. All right, Pilot Eye picks up the first blood. Now the question is whether or not they're going to be able to get anything more, as the fight is still going to go on. Looks like Innocence took a little bit of damage. Secret starting off this game number 2 with a very minor advantage in first blood for themselves. I guess after that game 1, you got to take what you can, Gods.
Yeah, they went for the level 1 smoke through mid lane. I really like that play. We see it very rarely, but when I've seen it, it's always been effective. And find a kill, get down a deep ward, and we'll see what Secret can go from this.
Battle begins.
Ruined.
Bottom one.
Gonna be challenged.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ice swoops in with a nightmare and says, "Thank you very much, Artur."
And they leave the top rune for the Wind Ranger. So, Wings recovering a little bit after losing that first blood.
Yeah, Universe is in deep, drawing away a creep wave, but Ice doesn't even have mana for a Nightmare here, and he loses his clarity, so good play from Universe to cancel that and keep the creep wave coming his way.
Yeah. So this should be a free level 2 for him in that regard. Meanwhile, our 2 supports from Secret in a kind of an awkward position. Looks like they're going to wrap around behind the off-lane Tidehunter and see if they can get an early kill. Already managed to get the stun, and the right-click damage is pretty immense here, so they should be able to get this kill. Bian tries to put himself into the side shot, but is just not going to be able to make it out alive. I think he was hoping to be able to get into the trees and go for a healing south play, but not going to happen. Low panel.
Bit of replay of those beautiful gentlemen over there. Yeah. But I think he was kind of in this. I could tell, like, when he's starting items, he saved 500 gold. It was almost like he was trying to evaluate the situation. Can I contest this lane, or do I need to Iron Talon jungle? And he's going to look back and say, okay, probably made the wrong call. Expecting the IO to spend more time at bottom, and Secret, as soon as they see the Tide up there, we're ready to contest.
Shadow, is he actually dead? There's no Nightmare to be able to stop this one. Universe, he's got the kill. He's going to get one more right click, finish him off. He may actually die here as the tower does get a couple of shots on him, and the return kill does go to Ice, but still a big win for Universe in the off lane.
That's canceling that clarity earlier. Ends up really paying dividends for him as still Bane has no mana.
He's trying to actually stop the pull, but it's not going to happen, and he's just going to take a lot of damage in return. Keeps on right-clicking the heroes to pull the 2 melee creeps over to him, but one of them's going to get denied, so he just took a lot of damage and only really pulled 1 melee creep worth of experience for that.
This start for Team Secret in game number 2 could not have really gone better, other than Arteezy not getting that level 1 bounty rune. Everything else has just been on point. They killed the Tide when he comes to the off-lane. They got the first blood with their smoke. Their off-lane Batrider Universe has managed to get a solo kill on the Spectre.
Yes, the good old Satyr Banisher gank. Innocence is going to try and keep Arteezy in one place with that rather insane purge and its 2-second cooldown. Doesn't look like it's going to work, though. The Satyr Tormentor showing itself. Arteezy's just sitting really far back as the creep wave does get into the tower. He's going to try and pull it off, and that is where the Enchantress is going to be, wrapping around behind the Tier 1 tower now, just trying to get in range. Does manage to get the Purge, but still, our Wind Ranger is a little distance away. He does manage to start Soul Siphoning up, and it looks like he's going to be able to survive off of that, and Innocence is going to go down in return. Not really valuing that Spirit Siphon enough, not respecting it, and Arteezy is able to pick up the turnaround.
Secret just ready for that aggression mid lane. Pi even TPing in with the overcharge, giving that extra survivability. So Wings, it's one of those things where we haven't really seen like what happens when they get contested in the early game, and here it's a bad early game start, and they're just trying to force
Universe at it again. He gets the Nightmare just in time. Ice will be able to get himself out from underneath that flame, but still, Universe is destroying this 1v2.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of dive on the mid lane is just very overzealous. Like, you're not realistically going to, even without the TP in from Io, I think they're unlikely to get the kill just because he had 2 Spirit Siphons. He can throw one on the Wind Ranger, one on the Enchantress, and it was a very low percentage play to be making for Wings, and something where they struggle a bit in the first couple of minutes, and they just need to kind of slow things down and wait and kind of transition into the mid game without giving away these kind of kills.
Yeah, it's kind of like game number 1, right? It's just you can have this static laning phase for Wings, and if you want to be able to be aggressive, you can be aggressive around the 10-minute marker, but no need to be diving in so early before then, as these early kills may actually allow Secret to be able to hold on during the time when Wings are going to be looking for those kills, right? I mean, you're going to start being aggressive with your Enchantress, Wind Ranger around the 10 to 12-minute mark, right? You try and set up the Spectre for kills, but if they feed away too much in this laning phase, they may actually not be able to get those kills they're searching for.
Yeah, they are at least managing to get Tide what he needs in the offlane now with the supports rotating towards mid, so it has kind of opened up some space across the map, but realistically they want to get something more done with this Enchantress.
They've got the sleep, and they've got a Centaur coming in. They may be able to get this kill. Pylai die. There's the reveal. He's going to try and go for a lasso out, but the burst damage may be too much. Gets the tether away. Last couple of right clicks aren't going to be enough. So Innocence is the one to pick up the kill. They're quickly wrapping around behind the tier 1 tower, see if they can put some pressure on Universe immediately after that one, as the creep wave is coming in, but Universe plays it safe.
I think the big thing where they need to pressure early on is because you're versing a Sven who already has Helm the Dominator, so you don't want to play... you need to make sure your mid game goes well, because otherwise the Sven will just do that power farm thing where you're stacking Ancient, stacking your jungle, and getting out of control, almost like to Alchemist levels of farm. So already there's aggressive wards up near the Ancient stack. Puppey's going to immediately deward it though, and this is very important strategically for Secret to deny any vision of this Ancients area where Envy's going to be looking to stack.
Yeah. That is one of the critical ways for Sven to be able to get far ahead of the enemy carry. It's usually one of those heroes that needs to be able to operate with like a 5,000 gold advantage, I would say, most of the time, and that comes from Ancient stacking. Wings can actually deny that. They'll be okay, but it doesn't look like Secret to give them the opportunity. They're actually going to go for Bian here. Managed to get the stun, the follow-up Spirit Siphon. Can't actually cleanse that one off, so they are going to be able to just run him down underneath that tier 1 tower and probably turn it into a tier 1 kill as well.
I think clever rotations from Arteezy, a hero you don't normally expect to be rotating into gank you, but just a Spirit Siphon all you need. They've even got the Exorcism, which they can commit with the Godstrength to guarantee a tier 1 tower. Any towers you take means you're going to have more of the map open to farm, and that just power farming Sven play gets that much more viable.
Wind Ranger trying to use the illusion to bait something out from Secret. Obviously not going to be the case here. Eternal Envy. Now the Spectral Ultimate goes down. They manage to get the Nightmare, but they're not actually controlling any of these heroes very well. He's going for Pylite Eye in the background, but he's grabbed very rapidly underneath the tier 1. And just like that, the Wings rotation is completely defeated. That's a Spectre, the first Spectre Ultimate, plus a full rotation out from Wings to the top lane. This buys Secret a lot of space in middle as well as bottom.
5-man swing. They're going to go... I don't even know if they can for sure get this tower, and even if they do, this is not a very meaningful tower for Team Secret. If they really want, they can just fall back and lead this, but I think they've actually got the tools to defend now as well. Spectre doesn't even have mana for a dagger right now, so...
Yeah, sure enough. TP in from Universe is all it takes, and Universe, his farm isn't even slowed down at all. Obviously, he did a fantastic job at the bottom lane, and he's only another like 600 gold away from being able to get that Blink Dagger. He can just farm the Dire jungle now to finish that off.
The scan scouts out the retreat right at the end of the duration there, so just on-point play coming out from Secret. They know that Wings have now backed off from this top lane to go and farm. It gives Envy the kind of freedom to continue farming this lane. He's got stacks which were taken initially by the Batrider, so there was like a quad stack over in his jungle, but he's got stacks now at the Ancients, which will be all his. So Wings need to put themselves in a position where they can really fight around the Ravage plus Haunt. They need to be very careful about how they use those ultimates, because as soon as they're on cooldown, that's where Secret can take objectives. You've got the Sven who can either farm his Ancient stacks, the DP you can push towers with, so Wings have to make sure they capitalize when they go for the Spectre Haunt.
And Vizrune picked up for Arteezy, but Blink is already putting some pressure on the tier 1. Looks like we hear the sounds of God's Strength. Sven is going to clear through the off-lane camp and maybe rotate over to the Ancients. That is a mediocre stat. Still may be enough. How do you think you continue to play this one as Eternal Envy? Get that fast Blink Dagger?
I'm not sold on the Blink. Either I may as well upgrade your boots to treads, but the Echo Saber has become quite popular on the hero, and even still the SMY build, but I think the Echo Saber is perhaps the preferred damage dealing build for this hero.
I think being able to play this Sven as the kind of Echo Saber and as he's like SMY, that kind of like very stat heavy build is the way to go. Arteezy uses Invis to be able to scout out Ice inside the Roshan pit, and he will be taken out. So they save the stack, keep Eternal Envy healthy, happy, and farming away. Getting that pick off Wings. No real response from them.
Yeah. The big issue with the lane stage going poorly, with like the Tide giving up kills, the Spectre even dying a bat, is that they haven't set themselves up to slow down the Sven whatsoever. The stacks have already been farmed up once. You've got to imagine Envy's going to continue to stack that, look to farm it up multiple times. And at what stage are Wings really ready to fight it? They've got their ultimates, so if they really want to commit all these big teamfight ultimates, they have a chance to, but they're being out-farmed. They're going to have a level 6 Puppey Ancient Apparition soon, so then they're going to be fighting into the Ice Blast as well, and Secret have all the tools to fight around that Ancients area with the Universe Blink, more importantly.
There is no laning wards, so Wings' rotation from Ice and Blink might be able to catch out the duo of Wisp and Sven, but if they fail this gank, They may be punished by TP rotations from Secret or even just a free escape from, say, a relocate out from the Wisp that will still, in the end, punish Wings for their inefficiency. Doesn't look like there's going to be an opening that they feel comfortable with.
And Universe just going to go back to farming, and this is where like you have your Blink Dagger. Wings are going to be playing somewhat scared. The first smoke with the Blink didn't work, but you can fall back, farm up the Force Staff a bit, slow things down if you're Secret, recognizing that Envy is going to continue to power farm. Has picked up a Helm, so it looks like we'll see the Armlet build out of him. Armlet even better when you've got the IO to kind of basically counteract the HP loss when you activate the Armlet and keep you alive, so it is the most cost-effective damage item really to pick up on a Sven.
Wings wasting a lot of time, and maybe it's them that is now the team that is a bit too easy to read with their rotations across the map. Secret seem to have their number here in Game 2 for the first 11 minutes or so. You can see our Spectre playing really far back right now, the bottom lane, afraid of being potentially ganked as the rest of his team is searching for that kill opportunity. They're going to go ahead and pop that smoke on the Tier 1 tower, quickly take it down with Focus Fire. And that is the end of Wings' rotation.
And it's
bottom lane.
Yeah, it's a strong setup because you've got Arteezy pushing with the Blink Batrider sitting behind him, and there's always the threat of a relocate.
Now the Spectre forced to pop the ultimate as Universe actually scouts him out, jumps over to Arteezy, slows him down with the dagger. The rest of Wings is coming in, but the Exorcism is still out. Universe actually going to jump in. The Ravage goes down. Maybe they can actually pop Universe real quickly and still find Arteezy, or maybe not. Here comes the relocate. Goes for Innocence. He's going to be the first one down for the Sven as they are able to finish him up with Cleave. Now Shadow tries to get away, but he's cleaned up Arteezy's nukes. Double kill for him. And Secret well on their way to be able to take a Tier 1 tower at that bottom lane. First really good punishment there from Secret in a team fight.
It's so hard to engage into this incredibly tanky Death Prophet with the treads double null. You're looking at this, when he's on strength treads, something like 1200 HP. And you get a decent Ravage initiation, but the follow-up damage is just not really there. It's just the power shot that gives you a bit of extra burst damage, but other than the Batrider, they can only kill one of the two targets, and the Death Prophet, they probably can't even kill in that situation, so...
The Highlight Eye caught in the river is going to go down.
Okay.
It seems like, I mean, throwing the Ravage, anytime you have to use Ravage and it's not catching the Sven and Wisp, I think that's going to be a great opportunity for Secret just to be able to punish you, right? There's just no follow-up damage. They had to, like, instantly kill both of those heroes to even have a chance at responding to Wisp Sven when they lacked that big AoE disable.
And it was a really good relocation position because they were right on top of the Enchantress, who was going to be one of those key follow-up damage heroes for the side of Wings. And you're not expecting your Spectre to really do a whole lot of damage in that situation, but the Enchantress, the backlines on these Ravage or Fiend Script heroes is going to be a big problem. So Secret immediately make their next move, farm up some Ancients here while invading the enemy jungle. And they've got, again, relocate already back up. They're ready to back up this trio with the Sven if needed.
Means Universe can pretty much fearlessly look for some of these kills. They're going to throw the scan out near the hard camp, hoping to be able to find somebody farming that one up. Shadow, though, now going to show himself in the mid lane. Secret just unfortunately a bit too fast to see that opportunity. Their smoke has now run out, and they may not be able to get that pick.
Blink Armlet on Envy. He is ready to fight, and he now acts as like an instant follow-up to the Batrider's initiation. Does need to be careful about how he uses this with the tether relocates in, but it's Wings who are forced to kind of 5-man around the map. Ravages come back up, so they just want to make sure they're sticking together at all costs.
Tier 2 being chipped away. Eternal Envy.
Here comes the Ice Blast, though.
Soon. They can get the Ice Blast onto 3. Oh, that's going to be a big one. Now the jump in. They get the lasso pull back onto BN. Now the Spectre pops the ultimate. Secret actually playing this really defensively despite that great initiation, forcing out the Ravage. Eternal Envy is going to be clipped by it, but that is all, and Wings still pushing forward like they want to be able to fight this one. They've got the Fiend's Grip onto Eternal Envy. The relocate back, though, he's going to be able to save him. The Shackle Shot doesn't actually latch, and Wings can actually take this one. Not anymore. Now Eternal Envy's got the God Strength. He's going to be slept up. Wings, I think you got to count your lucky stars that you're going to get out of that fight alive.
Very scrappy fight from both sides. Ultimately, no casualties. Both teams losing their Tier 2 tower. it really looked like that Ice Blast was... Envy could have blinked in, Storm Bolted too, and started fighting, but his team weren't really in position to back him up. And
Yeah,
even...
Did you see our TZ's TP? What happened there? Did
I
he
did not.
cancel somewhere?
Must have cancelled accidentally.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure on that one.
Because that was definitely the reason that Wings felt okay at pushing forward. But I'm agree with you. Even 4 versus 5, that seemed like almost a fight that Secret could have won.
It was a guaranteed 2-hero Stormbolt on squishy heroes, the Wind Ranger and Enchantress, but you're blinking into the Fiend Script, and your team doesn't have the easiest way to cancel the Fiend Script. When Flame Break costs a lot of mana, Universe actually ran into mana problems after that lasso, and it looked like that they kind of didn't... They went for the front lines rather than the 2 squishies on the back line who did get hit by the Ice Blast. But at least a neutral trade for Wings, which at this stage is when you're kind of playing from behind, you'll take those even exchanges.
Yeah. And they've got some... they would have some decent control of the Dire jungle at that point in time, but you've got some really good defensive wards by Secret. They want to be able to protect that, as that is going to be one of Eternal Envy's main sources of farm, bouncing between top lane, jungle, and then going over to the Ancients. Universe is going to try and set up a relocate gank onto Shadow. But Shadow backs up at just the right time.
And this is kind of what led to some of Secret's downfall in the earlier games today against Na'Vi. They just went for too much of this kind of solo gank play where they're not getting their cores involved in. They're still showing here, like, despite Secret being ahead, I'm not like convinced by their team play. That fight at top was kind of all over the place. And this game as well, we're seeing Universe kind of go for these solo pickoffs when I think he should be kind of spending more time with Arteezy, with the team, taking objectives.
Highlight Dime, off the dagger, Ice. Oh, actually just straight up comes forward, man, to get the Fiend Script, but now the silence. The combo, Ravage actually goes down, but all of Wings are so damn low, they're not going to be able to follow this one up real well unless Arteezy actually goes down. The focus fire, he's going to be able to finish him off. Ice gets taken up by Eternal Envy, but he needs the protection of Highlight Dime. What? Blink? Hello? Face checks the warps, and now they actually might be able to have enough to be able to go forward. Ice Blast onto Shadow, but Eternal Envy couldn't get the right click. Universe jumps forward, catches Innocence, and they will be able to get a 4th kill. Not Spectre, but instead the Enchantress.
Both teams not really showing their A-game here. Wings in game number 2. Misplays like that from Wind Ranger, just chasing unnecessarily and just dying to the spirits of the IO. An unnecessary chase. They'd had at least an okay fight up until that point, trading the Death Prophet for the Bane and the Tide, at least like a core for your off lane plus a support. It wasn't too bad, and then they give away 2 more, so Wings not really looking like themselves here.
Certainly not.
Secret, though, at least in a position to succeed, and this has very much come from, like, when they can get away with this kind of greed with a hero like Sven, that's great for them, and I feel like they may fall back on playing a lot of Sven in this tournament, playing heroes like Alchemist, because they may just be more comfortable in these games where they can out-farm their opponents.
Yeah. And that really does seem to be the case, as sure enough, that 5,000 gold lead for the Sven over the Spectre is already here at 18 minutes, and that's very likely to grow even worse over time. Shadow did pick up an Invis rune at the top lane. Not that he's really going to be able to do a whole lot with this. Scouts out Arteezy, and that's really all. None of his team rotating over, try and go for some sort of weird gank. Instead, Wings, I think they really just got to focus on getting some farm and letting Secret come to them in the next 5 minutes or so, because I'm not sure if these team fights are really going to change unless they start getting some bigger items. But they disagree. They're going to go for the 4-man smoke.
I'm kind of totally in agreement with you. If they find a straight-up 5v5 team fight into Exorcism and God Strength, I think they get crushed. So they need to try and isolate the IO +1, because often Secret's setup is going to have 3 heroes somewhere on the map with the IO backing up the carry Sven.
Oh, Sven actually blinking forward straight into Bian. They will be able to get a really good Fiend Script. Highlight Die in the background has to go for the relocate out and will be able to save Eternal Envy.
Importantly, there was no Ravage to catch Pylai Dai on the relocate in. If they had Ravage, it was up in 2 seconds. They could have won that fight. Yeah. They do have it now, though, so this gets very risky for Secret, who may be forced to, who may try and re-engage.
With God Strength down, no relocate, Ravage still up, even if Fiend's Grip is not. And Pylai Dai might have actually just put himself too far forward. Oh! The combination of nukes. They just left that open a little bit longer. Maybe Bian could have gotten an anchor smash or something, that would have been enough to finish him off. But
He's deep by himself here, but
he got some sort of escape. He really doesn't.
he's got teammates coming fast
there
though.
it is. Will be okay, and Secret actually may be able to pick up a really early Roshan. Yeah, sure.
They Spectre top, they know Horns down, and this is it's still an okay phase of the game for Wings. They're not losing fights, they're building towards the Radiant, so they're effectively fighting without 4,000 of their net worth, with the Spectre just picking up the Relic now, so very much at that stage of the game where, if anything, Wings just want to try and get a pick-off or two, or have a slight, or trade evenly in a team fight when they've got their ultimates, and then back off and farm. They trade evenly by just not losing anyone, and Secret transition into a Roshan/Aegis, but they need to get more than that if they want to really put Wings down here in game number 2.
Yeah. It is kind of interesting. We're going to get to see a different side of Secret in this tournament, a Secret that's actually ahead, and how they're going to be able to perform with that kind of lead. Because as you said, like, this is a team that does prefer to be able to have more of a farmy, like, late game oriented style, and they've already managed to do well in the first 20 minutes. They should be able to build this up even further, barring any major mistakes. And we'll see whether or not those mistakes do come. Puppey is going to be caught out trying to do the counter warding. It looks like maybe just a free one-off. The relocate also going to be coming down onto Bien. He does have the Ravage if he wants to blow it to be able to save himself, and he does so. They did get the Ancient Apparition, and Bien will be able to escape. But it looks like they're just going to try and go for the kill onto Pylite Die. He did bring the Sven back, so never mind. Down to bottom lane, so now that he's gone, they're actually going to go for Artur. Managed to get the sleep onto him. Dagger will wake him back up, but they managed to get the Hellfire Smash as well there. Arteezy turns around for the silence, actually now going for the Spirit Timing with Universe jumping in. The ultimate goes out from the Spectre, but it doesn't really seem to be enough. Arteezy, there's just not enough damage to be able to focus him down, and Izin starts throwing out those shots, but now Eternal Envy is here. He's going to go straight for Blink, forcing that win run out of him, while Arteezy's right in the middle of two different heroes, should be able to take out both rather easily. Eternal Envy's going to be the focus of this Focus Fire, and he's actually dropping pretty damn fast. The Ice Blast coming in, not going to be able to land, but Arteezy still looking for the chase. Innocence being slowed down. Looks like Universe should be able to get in front of him with the Bat Rider. And a 1-for-3 exchange there, clearly to the favor of Secret.
It's still like, it doesn't feel awful for Wings. Like trading 1 for 3 when they kill the Sven of all heroes.
Yeah.
They're buying time against the Aegis. It's Secret who come out on top of that one, but it's not like, okay, they're really starting to snowball. I still don't feel like they've done enough to completely keep Wings out of this game. The Radiance timing is at least going to be decent for Wings. The win range has stayed alive. Like, that Sven kill gave them a lot of money. You're looking at 660 gold just for the kill itself, and
yeah, the stats actually agreed with you. They were slightly ahead in gold from that exchange.
With a 1 for 3.
Yeah, but with a 1 for 3.
And before that, they'd killed the AA. So yeah, it was kind of a separate fight, but at least Wings, for the most part, are holding their own here in the mid game, despite their gold deficit, despite the fact Spectre didn't have a Radiance until now.
Yeah. 7-16, the Radiance is now up for the Spectre, and that can change a lot. For Wings, they're going to have... there is still the problem for Secret that they are operating on two different supports that are very easily focused down by a Spectre, Ancient Apparition, as well as, in some cases, Wisp. As neither one of them has a whole lot of defensive mechanisms, not really a reliable escape nor disable against the Spectre. And Bat Rider is also going to have some issues now that the Radiance is up.
This just feels like all it's going to take is one bad team fight where Wings get off an amazing Ravage into Shackle, they get the grip onto the Sven, and suddenly the game's going to be dead even and momentum's going to be going Wings' way. So Secret, I think they can kind of tell, like they're one bad team fight against the Spectre Radiance away from just perhaps being 2-0'd.
Yeah.
And even though they're ahead right now, it can so quickly change versing a Spectre draft.
You get the feeling that, while you can say they're playing conservatively, it also feels like a little bit scared that Secret are just kind of like, oh man, guys, we're finally up in a game and we can't afford to throw this away.
They don't seem to have any confidence whatsoever. They also, like, you can see like small little misplays here and there. The initiation of the top tier 2 tower. Envy kind of going in, like even just that recent fight, I don't feel like Envy exactly just played his hero all that well. He put himself in a position where he was the one who didn't have the Aegis. Aegis was on the Death Prophet. Arteezy getting caught out by 3 heroes wasn't an issue because he had the backup. And then Envy blinks in to try and fight without Exorcism behind him and he just dies. So Things like that, I just feel like Secret aren't all on the same page, but more than anything, yeah, just they're kind of playing scared / without confidence.
The sleep at bottom lane on the Death Prophet did actually force 2 rotations from Secret, and they might be able to catch, yeah, they're going to be able to catch Ice Ice. So they're going to pull him back in for RTZ to be able to munch on, and Universe will be the one to pick up the kill.
They're committing to the high ground. They're going to force Wings to respond.
This is smart. He still has the Aegis as well as 16 Bloodstone charges. Easy. Very happily challenged this tier 3 nice and early. They still have the relocate play ready to go. Waiting until after BN.
Oh, but he's lost
uses
Aegis,
his Ravage, but
not sure they can fully commit to a Raxi. I think if you're Wings, you're okay losing a tier 3 tower here. You don't want to force a really bad fight.
Now the Exorcism is going to run out. And RTZ will be healed up. So Secret, go ahead and call it a day. Back out. Take it to tier 3 and not risking anything else.
Yeah. Again, Secret playing at a very safe pace here. They are going to continue to kind of extend their lead. They're out farming their opponents for the most part. They're putting themselves in a position to just secure the next Roshan. Envy can farm up a BKB, which will solve a lot of his problems as far as fighting into Ravage, Shackle Shot, Radiance on the Spectre. Yeah. Negate a lot of the damage up, but it means that it's just like the Fiend script to worry about. But
nice scan there from the Dire. Will be able to catch Wings as they smoked up and running through the river. They even draw the exact path that Wings is going to be heading into. They cut across into the Dire jungle. And Secret looks like they're going to be grouping up on the top side and might be able to catch something here. The Radiant now using their scan in the mid. I think they were hoping that that little bit of red meant that somebody was coming out of middle and into the lanes, but rather quite the opposite.
yeah, Envy kind of trying to bait here, knowing he has the relocate to back him up, but not going to see much come from this. And now the wards will scout out Wings' exact position in the jungle. So Secret likely to try and take a team fight again pretty soon. They've got another Exorcism. They are in good fighting shape with the Shiver's Guard up soon on Arteezy. Got a lot of farm ready to go. It's just really Envy's Sven who's maybe missing that next big item.
What is this farm at? 3,600? What do you think he's going at?
I think it really has to be the BKB, or at least that to me makes the most sense.
So once he has that BKB, that's kind of like a serious peak for Secret at that point in time, where they could rather easily go high ground if they wanted to.
Item you often don't want to get too early on in the game, but I think we're hitting that point where Secret with the next Aegis will be able to go for a lane of Rax, and that's where you want to have BKB against the Ravage.
Right.
So I think he's made the right call not going for the BKB earlier on in his item build, but we're there now. 4K gold. Envy, what's it going to be? And Wings themselves just grouped up around mid. They want to stick as 5 for the most part. Maybe they go as 4 and have the Haunt to back them up, but
You called it BKB. And Shiva's ready to go. We'll see what Secret do from here. Wings are still the ones actually pushing forward, though. They've got the focus fire on the tier 2 tower, chipping away at it. I'm sure Secret not going to let this one go. Do start mounting their response with Universe. That means a quick blink back from Wings on the retreat.
and this is still a fairly squishy Spectre. So in these fights, if Sven gets on top of Spectre with a Stormbolt in Godstring form with BKB, Spectre will melt very quickly.
Yeah, this definitely seems like a game where Shadow's going to have to play much more of a guerrilla-style hit and run.
Dream scenario is he finds the IO in the backlines, kills him off to start things.
Yeah. Then tries to clean up heroes like Ancient Apparition, even Batrider, and kiting the 2 other cores, because those 2 others seem to be too tanky to actually force down even Arteezy. That many Bloodstone charges and that much armor now, thanks to the Shivas as well as the Veil. It's going to be tough to rip through with physical damage at least. Blink Dagger now up for the Tidehunter. There is still the opportunity for that kind of dream game-changing initiation from
Radiant's
him.
top tower is under attack.
But that seems to be the only way right now for Wings to be able to win a fight. They're going to be able to jump here in the top lane. Go for Eternal Envy. Actually pops the BKB. Ravage goes down trying to stop that relocate, but the relocate still actually goes down. Eternal Envy is going to be Fiends gripped up. Miscommunication from Secret, but Eternal Envy maybe just farmed enough to be able to do okay here. He gets at least the tide before he ends up dying. Now Pylai Die is going to be brought right back. What was that, Gods? A relocate save was there, but he pops the BKB.
Yeah, he couldn't tether him. And also, like, it looked like Io was actually going to die before the relocate because Spectre did a really good job of finding, and he gets vision of the Io, and he actually jumps on the Io over the Sven just to try and go for that kill. But like you say, you don't pop your BKB there if you're a Sven. You're up against a Bane. You're not going to be able to BKB your way out of that situation. You don't even have a TP, so the BKB definitely not the play. And Envy gives away a big kill to the side of Wings. That's the kind of, it's not the big team fight loss, but it's a pretty big kill for Shadow, who now completes a full Manta style off of it. Wind Ranger completes a full Aghanim Scepter off of it. That's 2 big item pickups on the main core heroes of Wings off of just one small little skirmish.
And the thing is, Eternal Envy is not going to be the one feeling the pain of a Manta style from Spectre. It's going to be those poor supports who all of a sudden used to have one Spectre that instantly jumps. Now there's going to be 3 Spectres surrounding that poor little Pylai Die Wisp and beating him into the ground nice and quick. They have the Ags and the Wind Rangers, so better focus fire on the way to be able to maybe finally deal with heroes like Death Prophet in a fight, but we'll have to see, as that fight is yet to come. Secret are going to be going for Roshan next, and I don't think Wings can actually stop it with 50 seconds left on the Ravage.
The other big problem with what that sequence of events up top is Envy already down to a 9-second BKB. This is one of those games where the BKB duration makes a big difference because of the way the late game is going to play out, where you've got a lot of these kind of spammable disables like Shackle Shot, things like Gush, which is just a pesky slow. It's going to be really tough for Envy, even fighting into Nightmare in the late game. If he's got a 5-second BKB, he really needs to rely on that long duration one, which is why he picks it up so late in his item build, because he was trying to wait and time the BKB pickup such that they're going to be ready to end the game. So dying and using your 10-second BKB, a big loss for Secret.
Well, Secret with a fresh Aegis may have plucked the courage to be able to go high ground again. Again, there's still that missing tier 3 at bottom lane, so if they ever do find the opening, it's going to be a really fast lane of racks for Secret. But Wings are still doing a great job. They're pushing out the waves constantly. Now that we have a Manta style, obviously this means even more opportunities to keep the lanes forward, and Secret off kilter, unable to go for the simple 5-man.
The push, I just don't think it's that easy because Spectre can almost always kill this Io. I think Puppey has to keep an eye. Puppey's got the Glimmer Cape, but I think more than using on himself, he needs to use it on Pylai Die when the Haunt comes out. Keeping the Io alive, much more important than his own life.
Run around the Ancient Apparition Gem, and that will actually help out quite a bit in being able to stop Wings from feeling comfortable in split pushing, because no matter what, there is still a Blink Dagger Sven with a relocate. So even just an Ancient Apparition Ice Blast may be enough to set up a relocate kill. So they do have to be careful when trying to split push and buy themselves time. May end up being punished if Secret can find the opening. But in the meantime, Arteezy's 3,500 gold. He's got his next item coming in soon, I guess.
Yeah, I think the big thing to be able to defend the Aegis push is just going to be having buybacks on some of these key fighting heroes, the Wind Ranger and the Spectre. Wind Ranger a little bit short, so perhaps trying to farm it at this top lane before the push comes, but Arteezy's ready to force this one.
Gush, as well as Dagger, already being used. I almost feel like this is a near impossible scenario for Wings to be able to save this lane of racks. Gonna pop the cliff, get to sleep. Now the jump in. Universe is gonna be able to catch Innocence. The ultimate is popped, and they get a really good Fiend's Grip onto Eternal Envy with the BKB activated. They can't actually do anything to be able to save, and the relocate may actually come out now as Pylai Die makes a tether in, but it's just under Arteezy, buffing him up as much as possible. Eternal Envy may have dropped a little low, but it's Arteezy who's become the main carry now as he challenges the rest of Wings as a full 5-man with the Aegis now still intact. Good Shackle Shot. Gonna be able to buy some time. Good Ravage as they manage to get Universe in the background as well, finishing him off with a sleep and a couple of right clicks while Arteezy still becomes the main focus. Shadow is already cleaned up. Pylai Die Wisp and will be able to make sure there's no escape for Arteezy in life number 2. So that's why he just full out commits suicide and That means more items for the Spectre. Diffusal Blade picked up by him.
Yeah, they lose Rax, and importantly, yeah, Secret get their first lane. It's far from game over off of that, but it was a much-needed lane of Rax, given that it was the second Roshan, and Wings were starting to claw their way back into the game with the Spectre Radiance, with the Wind Ranger Aghanim Scepter, so big ultimate's going cooldown, so Secret could look to fight on respawn, but more likely than not, they're going to be a little bit cautious in doing so because they've lost that Aegis.
Yeah, they can't afford to lose a fight on their side of the base.
And it was
That's for sure.
Pilot having a Glimmer Cape of his own in that fight, making a big difference, and also go for a really good tether. Spectre haunted on top of the IO, but then he tethered a really long distance to get away from the Spectre who was attacking him. So he tethered into the enemy base. He eventually dies, but he kind of wasted a good 5 seconds of Shadow's time.
Yeah.
Where he could have been going for the AA or the Bat Rider as well to follow up that initial kill on IO.
More split pushing from Shadow as he's attempting to use the Manta to do so. Other than that, Secret, you think they wait on the next Aegis before trying to go to the tier 2s at mid or top?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the play is just going to be wait next Roshan, get Aegis and Cheese, and then go for another lane of Rax. Kind of as we saw, where it's almost a bit of brute force, where you're like, okay, we've got enough building damage with the God Strength and the Exorcism, as well as enough sustainability with the IO, who has a relocate save, the Aegis, the Cheese, that even if we commit too hard and lose a couple lives, we're going to get a Rax here, or at least a tier 3 tower perhaps. So bit by bit, they can brute force their way through the wing space.
Secret, knowing that there is no Ravage for at least another 30 seconds, they are going to go for a smoke, an attempted pick onto the Tidehunt. Not going to be able to get in, but they will be able to get Ice instead. Pulling him back in, that's a free kill for sure. As he tries to go for the deny on himself in the Nightmare, but no possibility. And now with that, they may actually be able to still go high ground. Still waiting on that Ravage. No Bane for 45 seconds. Jump forward, Shackle Shot, not actually the latch, and a really great silence is the return from Arteezy. They're not even worrying about heroes at this point in time. They take the building, melee racks down, and now try and get out of here. Good blink away just in time by the Sven, trying to get some distance. Shadow, he's going to go for the jump forward, though. Managed to get Pylai die. What else can they get? Arteezy managed to run himself back while Puppey TP's away. Eternal Envy would be a great kill, but unfortunately the power shot not on point, and Eternal Envy blinks himself away. They're still going to try and catch him, it looks like. If they can get close enough for a dagger, and maybe a Shackle Shot, but it doesn't latch to anything. Force Staff comes out. Dagger is going to slow down Eternal Envy even further. They follow the dagger. Where it's going, Eternal Envy gets the blink out, though. And I think that spells the end. Wings were desperate for some kills after losing their second melee racks, but all they got was a wisp from that.
That was just such well-calculated aggression from Secret. And that's the first time where I feel like they were playing with confidence. Up until that point in the game, it's always like, okay, let's wait till we have an Aegis. Let's play things really cautiously. But this time they're like, no, we know the exact cooldown on Ravage. We've got 10 seconds before it's up. Let's get something done.
Yeah, and they're going to get a little bit more done as just vision is all that's needed to be able to catch Innocence in the relocate game. And just like that, Secret are in a great position. They can control the middle lane. Bottom lane's going to be pushing himself out constantly. They can get an Aegis for themselves and end the game. And Wings, they have been gaining a little bit of gold every single time these pushes come out. We've seen, you know, the bottom lane push was actually where Spectre got a decent amount of kills in there, but it hasn't seemed to be enough to get that Spectre back in the driving seat of this game, and hasn't allowed Wings to be the aggressors, right? The ones who determine when the fight actually starts.
Yeah, this long Ravage cooldown has really been Wings' undoing. Anytime they haven't had it, they can't really fight. Best case scenario if they've got Horn is they kill an IO, maybe an AA, but they're never really able to control the Sven and have that team fight threat against Team Secret when they haven't had Ravage. And as kind of this game develops, we'll see even more BKBs picked up. Universe has recently got one for himself. He's now got a 10-second. Highlight Die on the IO may even be able to farm up a BKB if things continue to drag. And I think Wings, even if this goes even later without them losing any further buildings in their base, they're still going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, they're going to be hard-pressed to actually stop Secret, especially given the amount of map control they have. They'll still be able to hold themselves a larger and larger net worth lead over time, unless Wings can find some sort of openings. 2,500 gold on our Tide, still a ways away from that next item, whatever it may be. And I'd like to see a Shiva's sometime on this team.
Yeah, Shiva's give you even more damage reduction against the Sven.
They really need to be able to find ways to kite him. Bien is going to run into Eternal Envy. Blink out.
I think Wings recognize if they give up another Roshan, they may just lose this game.
Yeah, Eternal Envy. That was actually a lot of damage, but immediately the Glimmer Cape comes out from Puppey.
Yeah, a lot of what Wings have to try and do is try and force a preemptive BKB out of Sven and then kite away from him, or force out a preemptive relocate in a situation like that. So they're not really fully committing to a fight there, just trying to see how Secret respond when they jump in. This Roche pit, Centaur on Wild Wing. Mercy.
Poor Wild Wing. Doesn't even stand a chance. Its owner is not giving it a fighting chance. Come on now. Come on now. That's just cruel. Forcing it to stand there, take the punishment. Eternal Envy found an opening, he managed to get the Bane, and now with the BKBs popped, there's nothing Bien can actually do. The Ravage ready to go, but he's trying to wait out the timers. It's just not going to be good enough. Shadow has to full out retreat. There is the buyback on the Tidehunters, so Secret may not be able to push high ground unless they can actually get more. They have found it. Shadow is going to be corralled by Universe back into the team. And now Wings, if they hope to be able to defend, whether it's Roshan or potentially even high ground, I guess there's still the tier 2 that they have up the top lane, and Roshan is not up for another 47 seconds. Wings are actually really lucky in that regard.
Yeah. They're not going to be forced to buy back or anything, but no Roche loss, but as soon as that Roche is back up, Secret are going to be heading into it, and it's at least a reasonably long time until the next Exorcism comes online with the 70 seconds further on cooldown. Something that Wings are going to be very wary of. They will have Spectre back alive, but the problem is the Spectre Haunt cooldown matches that Exorcism. So by the time they have another Haunt, there will be an Exorcism on the side of Team Secret.
Daedalus, Sven. Oh dear. Somebody is going to get smoked. That is going to be a one-shot opportunity. Yeah, one of these supports.
Even without this item, that last fight, Bane got 3-shotted, and that's one of the big problem heroes for someone like Sven. Envy, he can catch the Bane at the start of the fight, quickly burst him down before any kind of response is possible, and there is no response available if you get the stun on the Bane, because none of Wings' teammates can actually save him in that scenario. They haven't got any... the Force Staff is on the Bane. The BKB piercing disable is on the Bane, so they're all in on this Bane to deal with the Sven BKB.
Beating into Roshan. Big man does stand a chance against the Eternal Envy. Pull out 6-slotted Sven with a Wisp behind him, increasing that attack speed. And Wings, well, they're just waiting for their doom, essentially. Secret, get every advantage that they need. It's going to be an Aegis for Arteezy, a Cheese to Highlight Eye.
Yeah, that's really nice to have, because he's the one always getting jumped by the Spectre, and he can then just tether a teammate who's also taking damage, heal himself while healing any teammate back to full HP as well.
Oh, and a double damage, just a casual side rune pickup as well. So they'll go for the tier 2 at top lane. And Secret, seemingly on the path, victory, game number 2 to push this to a full game 3 series.
BKB for Spectre, huh? Sure, this is the item that saves the game for you.
See how it works. Tier 2 now down. The top lane is exposed.
The scan from Secret. They're actually anticipating this play, but they used the smoke the scan a little bit too early. But hey, guess what? No one's defending the high ground.
Yeah.
I wonder what that's about. And Spectre, when he defends, it's going to pop out of smoke, so this gets even more obvious.
Oh dear.
Oh, Arteezy.
Oh, the smoke actually pops now. The BKB activated. They're going to go for Innocence here. Easy. 1,300 damage, critical. Sleep goes down from Ice Ice. I have no idea what Wings are planning now with their 2 supports already down. Ravage, ready to go. The BKBs are down, so this will be a successful stun on many of these heroes, but are they actually ever going to have the damage? The God Strength is going to be running out soon, but now the Exorcism comes out from Arteezy. He's going to be challenging Shadow immediately. Eternal Envy is going to be taking some focus fire damage, but really it's just not enough as Arteezy is challenging anybody to fight him. Now they go for the back line. They will maybe be able to get for Eternal Envy as Pilot Die barely managed to keep him alive as EE just doesn't care. He's going for the racks, and there they get it. Forcing out the GG call from Wings. Secrets will push this to a game 3 and keep their hopes alive in this group.
Ooh, some really good IO play this game coming out from Pilot Eye, just finding numerous saves. Even at the end there, it got to the tether with the cheese to keep Envy alive a bit longer. But I think the big problems for Wings was the laning stage going as badly as it did. They tried to force a few ganks, like they were diving the Death Prophet mid and just feeding him extra kills when Pilot Eye TP'd in. And on top of that, they were entirely dependent on the Tide Ravage to fight, and that just really was their undoing here. Anytime it was on cooldown, you had Roshan going the way of Secret, the Raxes were falling, so...
That's what I like to see. That kind of sheepish grin on Eternal Envy. Secret, maybe in bit better spirits after that one. Well, the answer to the question, when is Eternal Envy and Team Secret going to lose? The answer is not game 2 at least. Panel coming up.
Thanks very much, Capitalist and Gods there. We'll go back to them for game 3, of course, but let's get the views of our panel members. And I think one member in particular will be very happy. Very happy indeed, folks.
50% win rate.
Your belief was not misplaced.
Universe Batrider. Let's go.
Universe Batrider. In all seriousness, though, this is a totally different performance. This is, dare I say it, what we would have expected to have seen coming into the tournament from them.
They changed it up, and this is, I feel like they need to keep this going. Change away from everything that they've been doing in the past couple of weeks, or at least the last couple of days.
They've unlocked the key. The key has unlocked the door to the winners' final.
I think a key thing was having that crucial initiator like Universe. Of course, I mean Arteezy and Envy played it much better in that series in that game than previously. But I think it definitely attributes to them having a straight up initiator rather than having him on like a Darkseer or something. That we've been
Is it fair to say, Alan, Secret win, not a Wings loss?
Yeah, I think Secret went back to doing some of the things that they'd done well in the past. I still think the AA pick was really good for them. And when it first came out, I focused on some of the heroes that, like Husker, that Wings like to run, that it obviously takes away. Alchemist as well. But it really does also do a lot against Wings' style. It's hard when you're looking to sustain, to disengage and re-engage, be constantly running at you, to have the threat of that Ice Blast on a short cooldown to have to deal with.
I can agree. I like the AA a lot in the laning phase as well versus versus Tidehunter. It's just beautiful. We saw they got the kill right away.
Right
away level 1, and also their level 1 engagement. It's pretty much guarantees you runes. It's really beautiful. And taking a look, you can see what happened. You can see how much pressure they put. Kills all over the place. Gold advantage. They were able to just take over the map and just not let Wings play their game, not let them take it to the late game.
Yeah, and I love these things. I wish I could like pause them somehow, because you can really see how in the gold graph, the second to last one, you can see how Envy just got off to that massive lead. He had like 54 CS at 6 minutes into the game, almost perfect CS in lane. Arteezy actually, despite the huge initial lane lead for the Sven, managed to keep up and farm on the Death Prophet throughout the game. So Secret's just doing a much better job of distributing resources, and just the coordination in the fights was all of a sudden there. I think a lot attributable to Universe being able to start things off.
I still also like probably two things for me. Yes, the fact that you got a lot of space on top lane, you made the point with the Ancient Apparition. I kind of feel all that also happened because I didn't feel the big presence from the Enchantress. Like the first thing you saw from her was a smoke gank with a Sata. Like that was her first rotation movement, which ended up in absolutely nothing. And when Arteezy was able to keep up, a lot of it happened because they fought straight into that tier 1 tower and bottom lane. It wasn't like we saw last time with the Bounty Hunter and Lifestealer rotating in. Instead, it was, I've got Exorcism up, we've got all the damage in the world, and the rest of Team Secret arrived at the right time. So Team Secret looked so much more solid then. It gave Arteezy a big bump, and then they just started taking objectives. Envy got so much more space. There was never any kind of contest on his Ancients. Like he was always able to take it. He was a little bit defensive. Like the only thing which contested him was like a dominated creep, a radiant creep that was trying to steal one of the last hits. That was all he had.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights of the game. There aren't particularly too many actually, despite the fact that it was a good Secret win. But we'll have a look at them in any case. And it really kicked off around about 11 minutes 30 in with a solid fight from Team Secret when they really needed it at this point.
Yeah, this is the fight I was talking about. This is when like Arteezy also just gets so much space to do as much as he wants.
Yeah, this is a really clever play because they do get the 2-man Ravage here after Universe blinks in. But this is such a weird Ice Blast. Puppy actually nailed 3 with the actual blast, but he got 3 with the projectile, which set up the kills. You can see Wings get hit with that Frostbite curse, and they're like, okay, we need to get out. We need to get out.
Yeah, it's almost like nothing of value was lost when Batrider went down. It's like, okay, we blew Ravage, and what did we lose? We lost a Batrider.
Right. He pretty much initiated anyway.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
It was like a weird type of initiation
and
thing.
This one came 5 minutes later when they got a 4-kill out of this one, and it really started to extend their lead.
That silence was so big as well, instantly cancelling off the Bane's control. It was still pretty big with the Shackle. That's the only thing that really made this a little bit closer for Wings.
Yeah. He was able to survive for just enough amount of time on Death Prophet to make sure that Envy doesn't die here.
Oh, you had such a great call with this, Fart.
Yeah. You were like, oh, how's he die like that? But sometimes you underestimate how much damage the spirits do, and it also attributes because of the ice vortex on the ground, which amplifies the damage. So you don't really expect that. So you can't really blame him for dying in that manner.
But this was a little bit later on in the game, just as Secret almost were on the verge of winning, and then decided that they were going to win here, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of overextension.
But you can really see in all three of these fights that we've kind of broken down. Secret was making calculated decisions to fight into the Ravage. They were going to go in. They were going to force the Ravage on their terms. They knew they could deal with it. They made calculated decisions to lose heroes. Right? They lost Universe in that first fight. They lost Arteezy fairly early on in that second fight. But the fight was still occurring on their terms. And what a difference from the way that we'd seen them executing in previous games going into that.
Yeah, more nervous. Yeah, more nervous and a little bit more erratic. And then suddenly in this game, much more settled, calmer. We understand what we have to do. We're going to execute exactly what we're going to do. And as you said, not get flustered when they do lose a couple of players each time. So, other than the universe change, what do you feel the biggest difference was? Has T-Bin been in there in between the games and said, guys, what the hell are you doing? Or has he got in and gone, guys, it's fine.
Yeah.
Just need to get back to this. Please do this next game, and we'll be fine.
I think this was just a completely different, everything across the board that they did in this game.
Like they'd actually taken the 5 players out, put 5 different players in there, and called them the same name.
Pretty much. It wasn't the secret that we've been seeing since they changed their roster. This was just a completely different draft, completely different style. So. They should keep this up. This is what they need, and this is the change.
Well, you'd say that anyway. He's trying to be an optimist here. Now he's got something to hold on to.
That's high-level analysis there. They just won. They should keep this up.
Well, I meant just the way that they changed. They changed their style. Not just of course, they should change their losing and win. They should definitely start winning. Come on.
High-level coaching from Fog right here.
But throughout, this is one of the trademarks of Puppy's captaincy, right? Yeah. When you see Puppy teams executing well, it's like a chess game. Right? They know how the fights are going to go. They know exactly how much resources, how many heroes they're going to have to sacrifice at what point to get their favorable trades on the other side. And that's just the complete opposite of what we've seen out of Secret in the last several months.
I mean, with all due respect to Puppy and his legacy and everything, it has been awful at times over the last couple of months. You sit there and just go, what is going on with this
It's when you simplify it. Because it was really, really simple. Even if you just take it back to that bottom lane fight, what do? You try and blow the Ravage. You get initiation to either kill off the Tidehunter first, or he blows the Ravage on something which doesn't matter, and then you all just go in. And they have a lineup which was capable of doing such a thing. So it's not rocket science.
No.
You get rid of teamfight control, you then go in.
Yeah, but it is what Charlie said earlier. It's about trust, too. It's about saying, actually, this is what we're going to do, but please go and do it. Don't listen to me saying this is what we have to do and then get a bit sort of like, oh, I don't know if I can go in just yet. Oh, no, I just blew something. No, I can't go in right now.
You could tell, too, they had Arteezy every single time, just straight up in the front. And
whether he was going to die or not.
And yeah, exactly. He was like, if I die, you know what, whatever. As long as I get enough Spirit Siphons out, I tank enough of the damage, I tank the Ravage, and then you could see Pi pretty much was waiting every single time for that Ravage to come out, following up with Envy, and then they'd go in. It didn't really matter that the Ravage was hitting Arteezy. They were just prioritizing, you know what, that's fine. That's not a right clicker. He got his spells off already. So
sometimes better to go back to basics, Toby.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Pretty much.
Absolutely.
Hey, that's what Team Secret were doing at Shanghai. So it's so what do we do? Let's get Enigma and Tidehunter. That's great. We get crap tons of money and crap tons of team fight, and we will progress to victory this way. It really isn't that complicated. That's one thing, that's the strength of Puppy. He understands how the game works. He understands how we can make any team work. He went through such adversity in his Na'Vi days, and also some ups and downs in Team Secret days. And even before that, back when he was when he was still playing Warcraft 3 Dota, and he had players that just refused to listen to him, but he still made it so 4 players could actually work together. We won't have to bring up that entire story. But he was able to function with just 4 players listening to him, and they would still slaughter in games. And that was... Yeah, it's just strength to Puppy.
No, I love the way that Toby's putting these points because you're right. I mean, when Puppy teams play good Dota, it looks so simple. It just looks so clean. But that's at the same time why we had all been so sort of caught off guard and frustrated with the way that Secret had been playing. They hadn't been playing Puppy Dota.
Yeah, well, you mean you expect better and you don't get better.
Yeah.
I think we were all. It's fair to say we were all ready to write the eulogy for Secret.
Before
this game even came around.
The tombstone was being etched, buddy.
We were etching it on the stone.
We were talking about TI6 qualifiers for Secret.
We were, absolutely. So doesn't it just show how one game can change so quickly in Dota now.
It changes the mentality, but at the same time, we've always been doing this. Like, hey, Navi's back. Oh, Navi's not. Oh, Navi's back. Oh, Navi's not. Like, you keep like bouncing back
Secret's
and forward.
back.
It's like Secret won one game. It was really simple Dota, and they're able to do it. What happens in game 3?
Yep. Yeah.
Can you repeat it again?
Absolutely.
Yes, they can, and they will.
Stephen Colbert write a report.
Ignoring the fanboy over here who just basically wants to get a prediction right today.
Oh, come on. I want to see them play well. They
Okay.
need to play well.
It gives
I
us.
almost believed you.
It gives us hope. It actually
It
gives
was
us
close,
hope
right?
for the whole
Sure.
event, like for the main event as well as also coming up for TI6. If Secret do start playing well again, you have Digital Chaos who actually stepped up the mark as well. We're getting a lot more teams at this event, really showcasing talent, and it's talent that can also be effective inside of a game. It's not just, wow, these guys are really talented. They can't win Jack. There seems to be more and more great Dota coming up.
You know what? I'll be honest. I'm kind of joking around when I'm saying all this,
No,
but
we know you are.
I want to see good Dota. And when you
Yeah.
see Secret playing like
Bad Dota.
poorly,
Absolutely.
it really hurts because
Yeah,
these guys,
absolutely.
we all know they're incredible players.
Yep.
And they have my old teammate. One of my old teammates, Universe.
Yep.
I will always cheer for him whenever he's playing. Not to be super biased for him,
No,
but
no.
you know,
Well,
I
think
like
you're
to
right.
see them play well.
I think that's a great
Well-
point. It was something I was actually going to put to you all as well, because it feels like sometimes to all of us that we sometimes fanboy a team because they play really well, but actually
Yeah.
we're not. It's just that they play really well. You call it like that.
Yeah.
At the same time, we've been very harsh on Secret. I
Yeah.
think we were very, very harsh, fairly harsh on them at Epicenter, and they deserve some of that. And the same with the first 3 games they played today. When they actually do play a game, I think it's right that we say, actually, it's good. It's healthy for Dota. It's healthy for the community that these guys are playing well, because it steps everyone else's level up as well.
And it feels good. It just feels great to see. And we're all here to watch good Dota. We don't
Yeah,
want to see
we're
one team
absolutely.
crush another team ever.
And that's
Hey,
what we wanted
that's
coming
what-
into this tournament, right? When I was making my
Apart
predictions,
from-
I'm like, I have 12 teams in my top 8.
Hmm.
There are a lot of teams here that are capable of playing at a high level and playing winning Dota. The question is consistency.
We see Wings right now. Definitely taking a look at everything.
Yep.
Learning a bunch from that last one. Yeah.
So I've been told we were a couple of